surviving the first day.
Yes.
Okay, if they went to SANS.org, went to the reading room, went to white papers, and went to Windows XP, surviving the first day.
And just, kind of, why is that important? Well, you take when you buy a new computer, it's typically been built, say, 6 months, prior to your buying it. Even if you buy it, from one of these online order houses, the computer is going to have an operating system load that's at least 6 months old, and during which time tons of very critical patches have been put out by Microsoft. And you have to be able to get these patches on your computer before it goes online. Otherwise, you risk getting infected. And how big is the risk? Well, you take an unpatched version of Windows, put it on the internet, and the average time before it's compromised is somewhere in the ballpark of 10 minutes.
Oh, come on.
Serious.
So when I just, go ahead.
You go out and buy a brand new computer, you take it home, you drop it on the internet, within 10 minutes you stand probably a 90% chance of that system being compromised.
How long will it take if someone went to SANS.org, went into the reading room, looked at the white paper, and go through those steps? How long would it take an average user like myself or most of our viewers to do exactly what the SANS Institute is encouraging?
It depends on how fast your internet connection is, because a lot of it's hurry up and wait on the downloads. It could be anywhere from an hour to 2 or 3 hours.
Okay. For each computer.
For each computer.
Okay. But could they all be? They could all be done simultaneously.
Well, if you have a large number of computers, and you can actually set up a patch server within an organization, and the patch server can push patches out of the computer. So if you have a half dozen computers or more in a company, that's probably the approach to take.
Right.
Because you'll eat up a lot of network bandwidth just sucking down the same information time and time and time again that you could download once and then distribute it on your local network.
As long as all the computers are hooked together, as long as they are.
Yeah, as long as they're all networked together.
That's fascinating, John. You go through. Clearly, this is something that average computer users really need to be concerned about, much of what you're talking about.
Definitely. I mean, after you get them patched, that isn't all of it. A lot of the computers now come with antivirus software.
Okay.
So the antivirus software needs to be updated daily. And a lot of the commercial software will actually push patches to the antivirus software out. I'm aware of one vendor that pushes patches out up to 120 times a day.
120 different patches a day?
That's how frequent new malware is detected.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, and the risk really goes beyond your computers. Well, let's stay on the malware, because you really need to, take care of the anti-malware. You have several vendors out there. You have the McAfee's and Symantec's and Resolve. Some of them, have free software. For the home user, they're all, just about equivalent. But you have to have current antivirus software. You have to make sure that it gets updated daily. You have to make sure that your patches automatically install, as they're available. And then you also anymore need anti-spyware software, because your antivirus software doesn't really cover all the stuff that you see out there. And you need to make sure that your Windows firewall is enabled, or there's, if you can afford a hardware firewall, that's even better, because it is really, really difficult, to keep out the bad stuff. And it isn't just computers where the issue is. Like cell phones, particularly the ones that are based on the Symbian OS, there's been over 300 cell phone worms identified within the last couple years. And as we get more and more of the Bluetooth-enabled cell phones out there, it's going to be just as big an issue with cell phones.
Those Bluetooth-enabled cell phones?
The Bluetooth, and the ones that are Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled are even worse, because then you can infect computers, and computers can infect you as well.
That is terrible. It feels like an infection just hearing you talk, John. I feel infected now.
And the thing is too often we deploy technology for convenience with no thought whatsoever to security. A real good example is a lot of the high-end luxury vehicles now are coming out with Bluetooth.
Yeah, sure.
And we're actually seeing in Europe several Bluetooth automobile worms that will do all sorts of things to mess with the computers on your car. And it's just a matter of time before they start becoming even more prevalent. And, you know, it's a safety issue. The computers on the car are, you know, controlling the vehicle. You know, what if they, you know, the worm turns off your analog braking system or your stability system? Or even worse, you know, slams on the brakes for you when you're doing, you know, 70 miles an hour down the interstate. You know, that bothers me, you know, more than any of the computer stuff. That, you know, we're deploying technologies that are known to be highly vulnerable in safety-critical situations that stand the potential to put people's lives in danger.
Now, I'm sorry, I got distracted for a split second there. You just said something that's critical. You're talking about the Bluetooth in your vehicle being conflict. Would you mind just repeating that again? Talking about it impacting your braking system in the car.
Yeah. I mean, you have a computer-based worm,
right,
that can spread through Bluetooth. Well, the computer is controlling, you know, all aspects of your car.
All aspects of your vehicle.
In fact, you have multiple computers in your car. You actually have networks in most modern cars that where the computers talk to each other. And although we haven't seen any out there today, you know, I can, you know, guarantee you that, you know, within the next few years you're going to see worms spread by Bluetooth or, you know, other networking technologies that could potentially compromise the safety systems of cars.
That is very, very serious. In that instance, what could we do? What are some of the things that a consumer could do? You don't want to take away from the high-end vehicles just up front. I'm sure they're trying to figure out ways to make sure they can't be compromised. The very nice vehicles on the market, or even the low-end vehicles that, because of, as you said, convenience, they're trying to make this happen.
Exactly. You know, people, you know, want the Bluetooth, you know, to do the hands-free type stuff, and do you want convenience or do you want safety? I mean, that's the judgment that we need to make, and, you know, my opinion is it isn't worth the risk. Unlike Wi-Fi, there is some possibility of securing Bluetooth, but it isn't out there yet. You're looking in the near future, too, of having cell phones that you can actually put money into, go up to a vending machine, and transact with the vending machine, debiting money in your cell phone.
Right.
And there's already technology out that can steal all the contents of your cell phone, so there's no reason they just couldn't steal the money on your cell phone.
Oh, my God, John. Yes. Yeah, I mean, you know, it sounds so exciting to be able to use your cell phone to handle transactions, but when you think about the practical side of that, about the same interaction that your cell phone would have with that machine to transact, to make the transaction, someone's just grabbing that information while you're making the transaction.
Yeah. And, you know,
that's
eavesdropping,
terrible.
you know, the little Bluetooth wireless headsets.
Right.
There's a lot of commercial devices anybody can go on the internet and buy that will allow you to eavesdrop on people's conversations, download the phone book off of their, you know, cell phone, or there's even software available out on the internet that anybody can download, set up on 2 or 3 laptops, and actually use to track the movements of people that have Bluetooth-enabled cell phones. In fact, it was demonstrated at a security conference a couple years ago where they didn't warn people that they were doing that, and they put up a slide at the end of the conference that showed, you know, the various people walking through the various rooms of the conferences, who was in what conference session when, and kind of to, you know, jab the point home. They were even able to say, and these people actually didn't turn off their cell phones and got telephone calls in the middle of presentations.
Oh, my God, John. This happened simultaneously. I mean, at that split second. I mean, they were literally...
and so you know, if nothing else, you have a privacy, you know, issue with Bluetooth.
Very serious issues. That's something we need to talk to Cully Carson, who'll be with us tomorrow from Womble, Carlisle, Sandridge, and Rice. As a matter of fact, John, that makes me think, do you think you'd be able to come back? There's so many more important issues here on a Friday, possibly, to come back and be with us to continue going through some of these issues. These are have gigantic significance to all of our folks. What we need to do is go over some of the questions of, particularly with online, I mean, with the organized crime controlling so many computers worldwide, our viewers can do about that, but also some of the other things that might worry you. Would you be willing to come back with us on Friday?
Definitely.
Great. John,
okay.
Thanks so much for being with us this morning. Absolutely. Stay tuned to more critical Carolina people with Jon Kibler coming up next. We've been talking about daily updates for your computer, antivirus software, patches, and we're not talking about cigarettes, anything to do with tobacco. We're talking about serious stuff there that can really impact your computers. A lot of daily updates, antivirus software, other things you need to be thinking about. We've been visiting with Jon Kibler today. We've invited him back to be with us on Friday. You need to get back with us on Friday morning at 7 o'clock to hear some practical aspects that you can be doing to try to protect your computers, try to protect your life. Come back and be with us on Friday.